Alright, welcome to the OTA balance update video for August 17th, where we had 3 cards adjusted, all of which are buffs, sidegrades and buffs. There were 3 main cards, starting with Forge, who got upgraded from a 2-1 that gives your next card +2 power to now he gives +3 power. The dev said, many cards make great use of Forge's effect, but he's not quite powerful enough to be competitive at the moment. Given how many potential combos he has, we're hopeful to buff Forge to have a really positive effect on the meta diversity by enabling many new deck variations. Even though we've only increased the effect by 1 power, many cards like Deadpool, Multiple Man, and Brood can quickly multiply this increase to much greater effect. What they're saying is true, but in a lot of scenarios, like Multiple Man's best deck right now is probably still Phoenix Force, and that only puts him at a 6 power, so it would just be better to Phoenix Force and then get to move him around a lot more than if you were to Forge him. So I don't really think that's going to do anything. Brood is an interesting one for sure. You'd have 5 power Brood and Broodlings to make him a 315. Which would effectively be a 5-16 play, which is very good. But it's going to be hard to say how good this buff is going to be. It is an interesting buff that can affect cards like Brood, Mr. Sinister, Deadpool. He might be good in like Patriot decks, honestly, since he could hit Brood and Mr. Sinister, or you could forge into an Iron Lad that could hit one of those things, and then you'd get like 9 power Broodlings. Um, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but this isn't an obvious, oh, this goes in this deck wow factor. Looking at the next card is a card I just made a deck about actually, Shanna, going from a 4/4 on reveal, add a random 1-cost card to each location, now to a 3/2 with the same on reveal. They say that when we originally designed Shanna, she was a 4-cost synergized with Khazar and Zabu, but even after the power buff a few months ago, she really hasn't found success, so we're going with a different approach to push her down to 3 costs. The cost reduction should afford her more deck flexibility and make her more viable turn 6 play to add more power to each location. So this is an awkward one in my opinion. It's kind of better. It's better in scenarios where you don't have Zabu already down, but the synergy with the deck specifically that I made that was a Zoo style deck, you typically wanted Zabu so that way you could play Khazar, Shanna, and Shang were the 3 cards I was running. So with her getting the cost reduction, she has less power, so she herself isn't going to help you win lanes, whereas before having a 4/4 that could get buffed by Blue Marvel to a 4/5, Onslaught to a 4/6 was a decent body since the deck's plan was to get wide. So she may fall into more of an honest destroy deck scenario, or maybe this is a buff to Zoo style decks. This is another weird one that is hard to see right now how this is going to impact anything. Uh, it doesn't seem good. In my opinion, this seems worse than it was before. Finally, the most interesting of the 3 buffs is Crystal being reduced from a 4/4 on reveal, each player draws a card, to now a 3/3 with the same on reveal. They say Crystal has consistently been one of the weakest cards since day 1. We're very cautious about pushing her power, as Snap's small deck size make each card draw matter a lot more. However, we want to give every card a chance to at least see some play, so we're giving Crystal a push with a cost reduction to 3. This should allow her to at least be considered in Surfer and maybe even help out in Ronin decks. So yeah, those are the 2 very obvious ones. Of course, that she's now being a 3/3, that means your Surfer deck has more consistency now. On top of Magic, that means that a 1 in 12 chance would have to happen. That's not even right. You would have to have Surfer be the last card in your deck if you Magic and Crystal in that game. So the odds of you not getting Surfer are significantly reduced unless you don't pull Crystal or Magic before turn 6. So you could see a lot more consistent Surfer, but I don't really think Silver Surfer's issue is consistency. It's just the raw power output typically, which is why we're seeing the Mr. Negative version of it that can put out way more power. So maybe Crystal sees a spot in the negative one. Um, and in Ronin, this is very good in Ronin actually. It means you can not have to run Zabu with 4 drops to try and make Ronin work. You can just run more on rate things. So Ronin just hand fill with like Crystal, Maximus. You could even maybe see a crossover between the two decks now. You could just add a lot of the disruptive 3 drops with Surfer and Ronin. So you have a big lane fill with the one with Ronin in one lane, and then Surfer to fill out the rest. That could actually be something pretty good. So I think Crystal will see some more attention in the coming days, but it may be just like last time where she got her on reveal rework, where it's you see stuff for a little bit and then it's like, well, she's still not really that good. Because at the end of the day, you're also making your opponent's deck more consistent, so it's a fine balance. But those are the 3 updates. Uh, Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.